He won the presidency in one of the most bitterly disputed elections in American history. A Civil War hero and a man of deep principle, he entered office under a cloud, yet chose duty over popularity and helped guide the nation out of the chaos of Reconstruction. This is the story of Rutherford B. Hayes, the president who ended Reconstruction, began civil service reform, and sought to heal a divided country under the superintendence of an overruling Providence. Welcome to episode 19 of Faith and Freedom, the presidents who built America.
I can hear you, the rest of the world hears you, and the people who knocked these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
What does a president do when he wins the White House in an election many Americans believed was stolen? Born in 1822 in Delaware, Ohio, Rutherford B. Hayes was raised by a widowed mother after his father died before he was born. He graduated from Kenyon College and Harvard Law School, then built a successful legal practice in Cincinnati. When the Civil War began, Hayes volunteered immediately. He rose to the rank of Brevet Major General, was wounded 5 times, and earned a reputation for courage under fire. After the war, he served in Congress and as governor of Ohio. In 1876, the Republican Party nominated him for president in one of the most contentious elections in American history. Hayes entered the White House after the Compromise of 1877 resolved the disputed election. The nation was still deeply scarred by the Civil War. Southern states resisted federal oversight, and corruption lingered in government. And millions of newly freed Black Americans watched as Reconstruction came to an end. Hayes believed the Constitution gave him one supreme duty: to restore national unity and move the country forward. Yet even in this tense and uncertain time, Rutherford B. Hayes' leadership produced 4 meaningful accomplishments. First, he peacefully ended Reconstruction and restored self-government to the South. Following the Compromise of 1877, Hayes ordered the withdrawal of the last remaining federal troops from the southern states of South Carolina, Florida, and Louisiana. This brought an end to the long era of military occupation that had lasted since the Civil War. While the decision was deeply controversial and criticized by many in the North, Hayes believed it was the only way to truly restore the Union as a voluntary compact of states rather than a conquered territory held by force. His approach aimed to heal the sectional wounds, reduce federal overreach, and allow southern states to rejoin the Union as equal partners, even as it came at a high cost for the civil rights of newly freed Black Americans in the South. In the face of fierce opposition, Hayes chose reconciliation over continued division. Second, he began meaningful civil service reform. Hayes took direct aim at the long-standing spoils system, in which government jobs were handed out as political rewards. He issued a landmark executive order in 1877 that forbade federal employees from making political contributions and removed those who did. When Congress resisted broader reform, Hayes continued to fight for merit-based appointments and publicly supported the growing civil service reform movement. Though his efforts were limited in scope during his term, they laid the critical groundwork for the Pendleton Civil Service Reform Act that would pass just a few years later. His principled stand against patronage helped begin the long process of making the federal government more professional and less corrupt. Third, he defended sound money and fiscal responsibility. During a time of economic uncertainty following the Panic of 1873, Hayes firmly opposed inflationary policies and supported the return to the gold standard. He vetoed legislation that would have expanded the circulation of greenbacks and instead worked to restore confidence in the nation's currency. His steadfast commitment to fiscal discipline helped stabilize the economy and set the United States on a path of sound monetary policy that would last for decades. In an era where many politicians were tempted by easy money solutions, Hayes chose the harder but more responsible path of financial integrity. And finally, he remained a man of personal integrity and quiet faith amid intense pressure. A devout Methodist, Hayes regularly attended church and sought divine guidance and prayer. Known throughout his life for honesty and moral character, he refused to compromise his principles even when it cost him politically. Like all men and all of our presidents, Rutherford B. Hayes was not a perfect man, nor did he perfectly solve every crisis in his time. Yet in a deeply divided nation, he consistently placed the Constitution, national unity, and moral principle above personal popularity or partisan advantage. Today, as our own nation continues to wrestle with division, questions of fairness in elections, and the proper role of government, Hayes' story offers a timely reminder. Leadership is not always about dramatic victories or pleasing every side. Sometimes it is about making difficult, principled choices that prioritize long-term healing over short-term popularity. In our time of polarization, we are reminded that preserving unity requires both courage and humility. Courage to defend what is right and humility to trust that the same overruling providence that guided Hayes through one of America's most disputed elections is still at work today. And he calls us to examine our hearts, to pursue justice tempered with wisdom, and to trust that God's purposes will ultimately prevail. The man who won the presidency in a bitterly contested election chose reconciliation and reform over revenge. The God who sustained Rutherford B. Hayes in a time of deep national division is the same God who watches over us today. I want to thank you for joining me on this journey through the presidents who built America. If this episode encouraged you, please take a moment to like, comment, and share this with others. Your support helps me continue telling these vital stories of faith and freedom. Next time, we step into the Gilded Age of James A. Garfield. Until then, may we walk in the same spirit and faith-filled service that marked the life of President Rutherford B. Hayes. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. I wish you a very blessed day. Bye for now.
3, 2, 1, talk to me.